Standardization is really a good idea, but the problem here, especially in the Philippines, we don't have much data to work on. I think what we really need to concentrate first is to come up with the data, and then next we go to the standardization. Because particularly in our experience, we're data builders, we encounter a lot of problems that doesn't have any available, particularly in a remote area. So I think what we need to focus on, particularly the ADB, should lead, or of course our colleague here should work hand in hand to be able to come up with a group that can really create or build a data for the Philippines. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'd now like to ask Rudolph to answer the question about the initiatives in Iloilo, which is a part of the Philippines, in the central part of the Philippines.
Well, ADB has a very long tradition in working in urban and rural water supply projects in the Philippines. The first projects were, loan projects were approved, I think, in 1974. So about 35 years of collaborating with the government on improving urban and rural water supply and sanitation in the country.
Gives you some of the inconvenient truth about the transport, where the congestion and road safety related issues are costing quite a bit of money in terms of the country's GDP. And transport sector, it is one of the highest growing sector in terms of use of energy. So again, in terms of energy efficiency, energy resource management, it's very important to make sure that the transport systems are in place that can be sustainable in the long term.
If we think about introducing sophisticated technology, that is fine. But if it's very expensive, they hesitate to introduce it. For example, there is a present GPS system, and sophisticated GPS system is better, but if it costs lots, they may think about how to introduce it. That's one point. And I'm now in charge of the road safety project, adapting the ITS technology in China. Still, I can't tell much about it, but they are thinking how to apply the IT, but they are really best think about the cost effectiveness. So I think that Japanese experience may be very interesting, but it also should think how to adjust to the other countries. Thank you.
Clear that the environment is a major thrust of the new strategy of the bank, both in terms of an horizontal dimension, in terms of environmental sustainability to be mainstream in all our operations, but also at the same time is also an important areas of investments as a focal area of our investment operations through our operations in terms of infrastructure. We are more and more.
They said, of course, don't worry, we'll build the dike, and so we modeled the dike again, and we once again showed that there's going to be less flooding, but there still will be flooding. Again, most of the flooding you see inside of the dike is freshwater flooding. So flooding isn't all the same. There's flooding from seawater and freshwater. And that way it's not as bad. But what it means is that they have to be very careful about how they drain that city, and they might have to invest more in drainage, invest more in parks, and so on.
So this is the kind of one of the settlement by the non-legal title holders alongside the Kolkata area in India. So when you, for example, propose to build an alternative railway along this existing one, you need to manage these sometimes conflicting interests in the existing communities here, and these need to be by definition microscopic.
And lastly, this is new research launched this year. As Mr. Chairman already introduced, the air quality in Asia is quite improved owing to clean air initiative implemented by ADB. But we think we have to go further. And the topic is wind and air quality management in Dhaka. Wind means city air ventilation.
So there is no basic information input However, project schedule is very limited. This is a very big problem for us. We install the GIS database to this project to collect the information using the satellite image and GPS, something like that, and to combine these information to the GIS database. This is the one example of the maps. This is an unelectrified village position map.
But when I was consulting, I never heard or received feedback after 6 months or a year whether these things were actually being still updated and used effectively. So I would appreciate if one of the experts can give me what is going on in the GIS world these days. Thank you.
Right. I'm not sure if this is the direct response to Mr. Kado's the point that I also think is very, very important. I think one of the advantages of utilizing GIS in comparison with the traditional medium like paper-based reports.
Yes, additional information. I noticed that all the applications are on environment and climate change. I'm a consultant for the South Asia Department of ADB. Just a few days ago, last week, we held a workshop. We are working on a project using GIS for economic modeling, specifically evolutionary trade and agent-based modeling. That is also linked to climate change. So at ADB, we're not just using GIS for environmental stuff, but also for economic modeling.
Maybe I can just share a few kind of points that I made while I'm listening to this workshop. There's a kind of initiatives for the open source, the GIS and open data initiatives, and also there is more having more smaller satellite for the remote sensings. Also, there's a global navigation satellite, and including the new QZSS, the satellite that is going to be launched by Japanese government.
We are thinking of having some meetings in the future process also. I'm hoping that ADB will actively take part in the process together with the Japanese colleagues. So having said that, I just want to express my sincere thanks to the moderators for their excellent moderation. Each session was very much successful.
Really lucky that it's been very dry here. Actually, the last few weeks it's been quite wet, and you're able to hold this meeting successfully without any interruption. Anyway, thank you very much and safe trip.
Bye. What's your beer? Okay. All right. Okay, I have to take it.
You don't drink.
I drink. You don't drink.